changes spanning generations, or a shift in the wind, a body dormant underground. His world is right.
Welcome to Onward Live, a live stream focused on encouraging you to create a life you love living now. Let's go beyond success to significance. Being clear on our why is crucial. It requires doing the inner work, finding ourselves, getting to know ourselves, embracing our inner child, shedding social conditioning, and letting go of perfect. We know obstacles make us stronger. We can dream big and take action. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. I invite you to tune in every week and engage with me and my inspiring guests. Invite your friends. Let's make time for what matters most in our lives. Let's move onward together. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that it has been 3 years of the Onward podcast. I am really excited. I have a lot of people backstage that want to come on and talk with me for a few minutes. And then I have a special guest tonight, or two, Dan Johnson and his wife, Erin. And they wrote the song. I'm not sure which one wrote it. Maybe it was Dan, but they sing the song, my theme song. And I want to tell the story about how I met them and how I got them to, I got permission to use this song, and how I really didn't understand the song that much until I went through my own kind of awakening journey. I guess I did, but it just has a different significance to me now. And so 3 years, I just wanted to bring a couple of people on quickly. That one has a live show later tonight and the other one has to fix dinner. So I'm going to bring them on, and then I'll just kind of explain why I decided to start the Onward podcast and when I decided to start it, and then quickly, and then how I met Dan. A lot of people stop podcasting after 7 episodes. This is the 199th episode that I've recorded, and I'm really proud of that. And I love doing this. So, and Will can tell you, my son, he'll be on. Like when I was first starting, I couldn't do the initial solo cast, which is where you're supposed to say like why you started the Onward podcast and introduce myself. So I had my son interview me, and he'll be here. He'll be on tonight as well. I don't know why my light looks a little dark, but anyway, we're good to go. All right, let me find one. This one guest is coming in. It's hard. Where do I find him? Oh, there he is. Russ. Hi, Russ.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for joining me. You just had your own celebration for your show.
I did. It is just an amazing journey. And I am so thankful that you've been a big part of my journey. And you're such a good friend. There was no way I was going to miss this. I wasn't going to let the allergies take it away. I wasn't going to let the schedule take it away. I had to get in here at least and tell everybody what an amazing person you are and how awesome it is that you've gone 3 years. Oh my goodness. It's crazy. That's great.
Yeah. 3 years. I haven't missed publishing an episode on a Monday for 3 years. And I've been through a lot in 3 years. And this summer I am giving myself permission to take a few days off. And so a few weeks off. And so I'm fine with that. But, sometimes you got to just, keep going, even when you don't think you're making a difference. My downloads for this episode, for my podcast, have like quadrupled lately, my monthly downloads. And if I hadn't kept going, if I had thought, oh, well, am I making a difference? Am I reaching enough people? I wouldn't have seen that happen. And
Right.
So that's why I do this. I mean, I pay out of my own pocket. My company sponsors this show, and I don't do it for attention. I don't do it for downloads, but I do it to reach people. And downloads is a way that you can tell that you're reaching people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're amazing too, because it's all about consistency and just sticking with it. Like you said, continually showing up, but it's also all about your purpose and why you do what you do. And you are so good at that. I'm the live the life you choose guy. You're the live the life you love gal.
Yep.
And so we have a very similar mindset, and you are just an awesome friend. So thank you for letting me just be part of the celebration. I mean, I'm just excited to be here.
Thank you, Russ. And I hope you feel
Yeah,
better soon. We had the allergies out here on the East Coast a few weeks ago. So feel better. Okay.
I will. All is good. I'm overcoming this. I'm just going to keep moving. And listen, have a wonderful evening. Thanks again for letting me be here. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Russ has had me on his show several times. Let me bring Nancy in. My friend Nancy Burrows.
Hello. How are you? How are you? I'm going to
Thank
try
you,
and scooch
Nancy.
so I fit.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being for joining me tonight. And I really appreciated your earlier video post that you did on LinkedIn today, where you're an educator, you work in the school system, and how difficult it was to go into school today, and you can't tell the kids it's all going to be okay. I
I
mean, what do you
can't.
say? And you were saying that you were looking around your classroom, figuring out what you would use to keep the kids safe. And, I just commend you for all of that. And there's really no words, nothing much that you can say to make it better. But I mean, when I saw the news last night, I don't watch TV, but I just look at my phone and I saw the news. I just started crying.
Yeah, it's definitely a heavy-hearted day. It was hard getting ready to go to work, and one of the things that makes it really hard is that I get to go to work as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
And there's been so many lives disrupted, and yet, it's just life goes on. It's a good thing, but it's a moment of pause. And you're right. I was lying in bed last night thinking about safe spaces in my classroom and on campus. And I'm not the only educator who does it. And we don't just do it after there's a school shooting. I've had conversations with my mom where she's like, please, Nancy, please be safe. And I said, Mommy, I'm going to be that woman. And I need you to know your daughter and know her heart, because if there's a student that I can save, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to think. And people ask if I have kids and I say no. And then I correct them. I said, actually, I have 36.
Yeah.
I have 36 of them.
You do.
And I can't tell my students that not to worry, it won't happen. What I can do is reassure them that we're prepared, reassure them that there's a plan, and share it with them.
Yeah.
Reassure them that even when you're frightened, you can fight, and that I will do everything that I can to protect them
Well,
while
yep.
they're at school. And it
I know
shouldn't
you
be.
will.
It shouldn't be that a student wakes up and wonders if it's their last day of life going to school. And it shouldn't be that an educator walks on a school campus and wonders if they get to go home. And it certainly should not be that a parent has to wonder if today's the day their child will be murdered at school.
Yeah.
It's horrific. It's incomprehensible, and it's completely unacceptable. And it didn't have to happen. So, but we're here to celebrate. So
Okay.
Deep breath. Thank you for creating the spaces you always do for really honest conversations. I have had the privilege of being live with you, but also having you in my life as a friend and confidant, and somebody who I've had many real vulnerable conversations, someone who's inspired me, someone who has taught me so much along the way, and who has shared themselves so freely, and your family. I love when Marshall comes on, shout out Saturday.
Yeah.
And I love that I know his favorite thing is a red lollipop if he could choose. There's such a beautiful thing about showing up week after week, which is not easy. And
No, I know.
one live streamer to another, it is not easy. And it's
No.
not just about the time that you show up. So thank you for sticking with it. Thank you for being dedicated to creating this space. Thank you for being dedicated to giving people a space to share their stories. And thank you for continually sharing your vulnerability, your story, your journey with all of us. It's
Thank you.
more impactful than you can imagine.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate
You're
that.
so welcome. I love you. I'm celebrating you.
I love you too. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. So, wow. Thank you for everybody that is chiming in the comments. It's just kind of challenging if you do a live stream because you're interviewing and you're also watching the comments so that you can make sure that you bring good comments on. And then you're also asking questions. Tonight, I'm not really asking questions though, but you're also like, I do not study really hard before a thing and have all this list of questions prepared. I just kind of go with my intuition and ask questions and things. So, and then when you do that, you got to really be listening to the guests so you can ask a good question. So it's just something that's really fun. I enjoy doing it. So I'm going to bring Dan and Erin on and just introduce them. And then I'm going to play the theme song that they wrote. I'm going to play a video and you can see it. And probably when you're done and you see me on screen again, you might see that I've cried because this song just really touches me in that way. Hi, Dan and Erin.
Hi, congratulations.
Yeah, big congratulations.
Thank you so much. So the way I met Dan is, I'll start a little bit before I met him. So I think I've mentioned before a couple times that I used to go to this event and they haven't had it in 2 years. I'm going in June. It's in Portland, Oregon. It's called the World Domination Summit. And I went the first time in 2014, and that's an event that just changed my way of thinking. I mean, I had worked for the military my whole life, and I saw people living in a kind of a different way. I saw coaches and I saw, just people couch surfing. I'm like, well, where do you get your health care? People had a whole different attitude and way of living life. And I met so many different people, by going to that event. And that event is what got me at some point thinking about podcasting, because the last time I went to it, which would have been 2018, I'm guessing, is there was a woman there named Kathy Heller. And she started a podcast right after she had her, I think, third baby from the closet of her bedroom. And now she has so many downloads. She's interviewed George, the head of Starbucks, all these people. She gets all the great guests. But anyway, she had her podcast is called Don't Keep Your Day Job. And that really got me thinking. And she started talking about what it takes to start a business and all that. I used to be the director of the Office of Small Business Programs for the Department of the Navy, but I worked with small businesses, but I never started my own. And really, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. It takes a special mindset to start your own business. You're betting on yourself. And so she started, when I was listening to that podcast, she encouraged people who were listening to it, because she had so many listeners, to start these groups. What were they called, Dan? Do you remember? I can't remember. But so we started a group in the DC, Northern Virginia area, Maryland. And Dan was in that group. I've interviewed different people from that group, and we became friends. And I had an event over at my condo one night, and you came over. And then I don't remember exactly how I heard the song, but Dan is a songwriter. And I asked him, could I use the song on my podcast? And he told me I could. And then there's no money deal with that, except for there's a verbal money deal that once I make millions, I owe him some kind of money. But I haven't done that yet. Dan, I promise I haven't. So Dan, do you want to share a little bit about the song and say anything, or Erin, before I play the video?
We were using Zoom before Zoom had its big explosion during COVID. Mm-hmm. And every one of our meetings except that one, as I recall, were remote.
Yeah.
So we did get to meet in person once, which was great.
Right.
So this song, I wrote it long before I met you. But sometimes it turns out that the person hears the song and it's really just for them. We were asked to write a song by a minister friend of ours, and she asked for a song about transformation. And that turned out to be the perfect prompt for me, because I knew a couple of people in my life who were going through some life changes, life challenges, and this minister was one of them. She was about to move. She'd leave her congregation, leave her job, and leave the Eastern United States and travel cross country with her husband for his career. And I don't think she knew what she was going to do next other than that. And I'm sure it was a difficult decision. So she was on my mind the whole time I was writing it. And I was just hoping that, it might offer her some comfort. And then at the same time, my son had come out to us, and, everything was cool. We were supportive, but I wanted to encourage him. And so that's another goal of the song, just to encourage him on his journey and his major life moment. And along the way, the song has actually just become an encouragement to me and hopefully some others.
Oh, yeah, definitely an encouragement. It's called Quantum Leap, and I'm going to play it. And I wanted to say also that Lisa from that group is the one that took all my photos for my website and my podcast cover. So, yeah. So, all right, let me play this. I'm going to remove this.
Can Erin say something about the song?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just thought it's kind of apropos for what you do on your podcast is this idea of quantum leap, and as a coach, quantum leap this song really got us thinking about it. Quantum leap is usually thought of as this big thing that happens, wow, aha, the light bulb goes off and all of a sudden everything is different and your life changes and you go from rags to riches or whatever the glamorous image of it is. But in fact, what we learned is that, in quantum mechanics, it's a very tiny little movement. It's actually, an electron, one energy level switches into another one really quickly. But the point is, it's a tiny movement, and it's also, it's believed to be this sudden thing, but actually it's not. Under further study, it was discovered that it's real physical events happening over time. So it completely fits with my story. I don't know if you have time to hear, but
yes, go ahead, tell me.
Story is exactly a quantum leap of that kind. So this was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. I was in one profession and I was doing fine. And I was like you, I was doing fine and it was all going, just fine. But I really wanted to be an environmentalist saving the planet. That's what I really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent 10 years in incubation, just, researching, going to conferences, talking to people like you did. And although you had an aha moment, I think, out there on the West Coast. So then I went then something opened up and allowed me to step away from that profession. And I started a process called spiritual discernment to answer the question, what is mine to do to help heal the earth? And so the result of that process, which was sort of the deeper level, not the resume or skill set part, but the deeper part, then that launched me into a 10-year consulting career where I started my own business and I worked for a number of different environmental nonprofits. It turned out really well. It was incredibly satisfying. And I never thought I had the qualifications or anything like that. And yet it worked out great. And so that is really, I think, for most people, the way a quantum leap actually works. And
yes.
So it's interesting to think about, and it fits with Dan's line in the song, which is subtle changes spanning generations. So
to make a quantum leap, it can be subtle changes that get you a quantum leap. It's not a huge, big change.
Right.
And it can be easy. And some of it can be easy. Some of it's just a little change in the way you're thinking. In fact, I'm a energy leadership practitioner. So it's a change in your energy level. When you're vibrating at a different energy level, you see options that you wouldn't see when you're at a lower energy level. That's one of the things I've done is raise my energy level. And I did have an aha moment out in the West Coast in Oregon, but I came back and after 2014, I came back, and you know how it is. You go to this conference, you're all excited, and I came back and went right back to my old habits, my old patterns, and I applied for a promotion and thinking that, well, that's going to make me happy, or my ego's driving me on that, right? And I've had quantum leaps, and that's something I study in one of my coaching programs. We study like quantum leap and what it means. And so that's why like I was oblivious to a lot of this. And that's why when I listen to the words of this song now, it means so much more to me than it did in May of 2019, because I was asleep. So thank you for sharing your story, Erin. And I'm going to play this video. I'm going to play the song, and it has Dan did a little video that has the words of the song, so you can see those.
Nature moves in many ways, subtle changes spanning generations, or a shift in the wind, a body dormant underground. His world is right and absolutely earthbound, till his wings come in. You are life in motion, an ever-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway. A quantum leap from yesterday. Quantum leap. Children go beyond our dreams. Our little men and women fly away, it seems, all in the wink of an eye. We readjust at every stage, while young ones face the questions of their own age, both reckless and wise. You are life in motion, an ever-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway. Quantum leap from yesterday. Quantum not the enemy, but only a disguise for opportunity. Will you still fight it? And when good fortune comes your way, will you rejoice or mourn that she might leave one day? Only you decide it. You are life in motion, an ever-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway. A quantum leap from yesterday. A quantum leap from yesterday.
I love that song because that was me when I retired. I feel like I mean, I lived my life and I loved my life, and my son's going to be on later, but I feel my life was like pushing. It was like just getting by. It was like stress. And I knew that when I retired, that was going to change. And it didn't. Right after I retired, my daughter calls me and tells me, that William and Anna's dad is sick with cancer. So there's another tragedy, another, like stressful time right in front of me. So I get through that. And then, but still, I was just like busy. And I didn't know how to stop that. And one of my coaches, Sandy, might be coming on because I didn't know how to. I was just creating more and more work for myself. And then I realized I was just like avoiding my feelings. And so that is when I got my wings. That. See, I didn't understand that song until now. So thank you.
Very welcome.
Yes, very welcome.
And
thanks for including us today.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about Dan, I always put Dan and Erin and their company and what they do. I always put it in my show notes. But their company, their website is Soul Pajamas, and Dan is starting a business where he's writing lyrics for people who like a big anniversary or some kind of celebration or college graduation. You tell them a little bit about the situation, and then he writes a song. Is that right, Dan and Erin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's called Music is the Best Gift.
Wow. So for some reason you can't find out I don't have a little caption thing to put up for Dan and Erin, but if you can't find them, soulpajamas.com or something, message me and let me know if you want him to write a song for you. He wrote that song for me, not even knowing me, he and Erin. So thank you so much. I appreciate you both.
Thank you and congratulations.
Yes,
again.
congrats. Keep doing it.
All right. Let's see. Who am I bringing next? Jenny, I think can wait. I think she can. Tell me if you can't, Jenny, but I think you're going to be here the whole hour. And I was going to bring this person on. Will.
Congratulations.
Thank you. William is my son. And you probably, if you see my Facebook picture or a post I made on LinkedIn, he just graduated from community college. I'm so proud of you, Will. And I really appreciate you interviewing me when I didn't know what to say 3 years ago. You interviewed me about why I started the podcast. So thank you.
I'm sure it was difficult for you to put that all into your own words on the spot at the time.
It was, because
you were just starting.
Yeah.
You've come a long way too since you've started this.
What do you
process, you've changed a lot as a person, and it's been pretty cool to see.
Really?
Yeah, well, growing up, we had a certain relationship. It was more butting heads, and then since you've started this process and worked on yourself through different things like PQ,
positive intelligence.
One of the things you coached me in, actually, and that helped me a lot as well with my stress levels. But you're definitely a different person. We can have deeper conversations, and you're more calm, and you communicate much better. And part of that might be me getting older and realizing you're right about like everything. But
yeah, part of it. You've done a lot of work on yourself too. So we both have. We both have, and I think that enables us to have a better relationship. One of the challenges about you saw in that song about children get their they leave the nest. It's really hard to let a child go like that.
It is.
It can be hard, and maybe it's even harder on a single parent and then it's even harder when I'm the only parent, and it's just like, and then Anna, your sister, she's working tonight, can't make it. She moved all the way to Denver. You're 4.5 hours away. Anna's halfway across the world, and it's challenging, but we have such a good relationship, and I'm so grateful for that. Will, we've been through a lot together, and I'm really grateful that we can talk. That if you're upset about something, that I've said or done, you can talk to me.
Yeah, definitely. Whereas
you can talk about it.
Like growing up, maybe wasn't always an option, or if it was, it never led to the right place because we didn't really know how to communicate with each other. And in both of our processes of learning about ourselves and learning about each other, I think we've really come a long way with everything. You're definitely, I can call you like one of my best friends now, not just my mom, but the first person I would call if I needed to talk about something. And I value your opinion very much on issues in my life.
Thank you, Will.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for joining me tonight, taking a break from watering your plants.
Yeah, I got carried away.
So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Mom.
Okay. I love you. I'm going to bring Brian Schulman in now. He's waiting too. So thank you, Will.
Again.
All right. Let me find Brian here. I think this is Brian. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on.
You just said thank you for everyone who's taking a break from watering your plants.
Will was, I called him. I'm like, are you joining us? He's, oh, darn, I was watering my plants. He's not in California. He can water his plants out here.
Yes, he can. And I was crying too, because what an incredible compliment. Like, that's, Will, you're an incredible man, and you have an incredible mother. I just wanted to congratulate you on 3 years, and here I have some balloons for you. I just wanted to congratulate you on your 3 years. There's a Pikachu there somewhere too. On your 3 years, and what a wonderful celebration. Indeed, Onward together, and you've got the biggest heart in the world, and I get the biggest smile on my face every time I see you and Marshall. You guys come on the show, and you just, you light up our worlds, and I'm super proud of you. I did catch Nancy Deborah earlier. And this is not easy. This is not easy to do week in and week out, year after year, from one fellow broadcaster to another. We actually have a show at 6. So, I have to leave in a few, but I just wanted to congratulate you. I wanted to come on and let you know that you're such a special human, and I love what you do and why you do it, and you impact more lives than you know.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. And I know not always able to make your all's lives, but it is special to me when I'm able to make it with Marshall.
Yeah, you guys are just too cute, and Marshall has love for lollipops, and it's just awesome to see him light up, and you light up with him, and you bring smiles to all of us. So I just wanted you to know that I love you, and I appreciate you, and I love your heart, and I love what you do and why you do it, and again, you keep doing what you do, because you are impacting lives, you are changing lives, you are helping people see that quantum leap, that little micro moment that makes such a huge difference, just as it has in your life and my life and so many others. So sending you so much love.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me tonight.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad I could be here to celebrate you.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Good luck on your show tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. I've got Kelly, are you there you are. There's Kelly.
Hi.
I've known Kelly. What year did we meet? Like elementary school?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I moved into Chapel Square when I was 7 years old.
It was about the same time I did. So we went to elementary school together. Oh my gosh. And then we played basketball together. And then we played basketball against each other when you were at George Washington University and I was at the Naval Academy.
Yep. Can you
And
believe
we're
that?
still
I'm
friends.
sitting here thinking, I'm like, am I like the oldest person that, like, I'm thinking now that's been on here tonight. Like, Will, congratulations on Will. Dear God, I'm sitting here going, oh my God.
I know.
I mean, what a great man. What a great guy. You've raised two beautiful children.
Thank you.
And everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
who knows what is good or is bad, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I think you were headed out tonight with some friends, but
No, I was working, and then I went to dinner because I'm like, okay, Kelly, go to dinner, because if you don't, you're not going to eat. Let's eat. And so then I wanted to get back here, so I did, and I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. You've seen me grow up.
I have seen you grow up, and you have seen me grow up, and it's interesting because us as high schoolers, and you were a little bit, I think, more serious than I was, but I think so.
Yeah, probably.
But remember that? I mean, we talked about going back to our 5th grade or 5-year-old self, or watching a 4-year-old. I was actually having dinner with a 4-year-old tonight, and just watching him was just incredible, like just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I think about when we were younger, and we had sleepovers, remember, all the time at Nancy's house before basketball games, and just how simple that was. Just simplicity with 3 to 4 people, and not just with all this baggage of success. You have to be successful. I just don't remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
Like our kids growing up right now, my kids are in first year of college and third year of college, and it's a whole different stress level for them, I think. I mean, we had talked last night about the shootings, and I couldn't even really talk to you.
I know.
I was just so like mind blown, because we've had some issues here, and with kids who have died, and it just brought it all back. It was like
yeah. But that's why this is Mental Health Month, and that's why some of the we need to invest more in mental health resources for kids and for college students, and
for everyone. I mean,
for everyone.
I have a brother mentally challenged, that, and everybody's like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, he's going to live with me, because there is no place. There just are no places. And that's a sad reality about kind of our society, but it is that's the way where we are now. But if we don't invest in education and all, we're not going to go down that road. I wanted to celebrate you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I've seen you transform from a great basketball player and a wonderful friend to now just a wonderful friend. We should go on the basketball court, though. Yeah.
Yeah, we should one day.
You could do that hook shot.
Thank you for joining me. Yes, I really appreciate. Thank you, Kelly.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Let's see. I'm going to bring Sandy on. I know Jenny's waiting. Jenny, you'll forgive me. I know so many people. Sandy.
Hey.
I've interviewed Sandy on the show, and
I'm frozen.
Sandy is a coach that helped me make a quantum leap.
Yeah, congratulations. Can you see me or hear me?
I can hear you, and you're a little, but I can see you too.
Okay. Because on my screen, I'm frozen. So I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, congratulations. Such a big, wonderful accomplishment for being on for, so many episodes, week to week to week. I know that it takes a lot to continue to do it, to have the courage to do this, to keep going to do it. And yeah, I loved your post the other day.
Yeah, it was me shaking Ronald Reagan's hand at graduation, and just kind of giving a comparison of how what I did throughout my life got me to this point. And sometimes you can only see that when you look back. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know how much it took for you to be able to gradually really say, this is what I did. And another step is, that you were doing in this blog, this post that was just so wonderful is, and this is how it's relating to what I'm doing now, and this is how I can help you. All those links, it's so amazing. I know we've talked about you being in a room full of men so often in leadership roles and being able to speak up and say your viewpoint, and bring so much to that table, and how you are continuing to do that now in all of your coaching. It's just so beautiful. And I caught briefly your son, which was just so sweet and so moving. It's really just beautiful.
Yeah. I'm just so grateful for the relationship I have with both of my children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very grateful. And I'm at the point, Sandy, where I have found that inner peace, and even as more when I could find it when little things happen, and not get off balance when little things happen. But I'm getting there where even like quote unquote big challenges or things happen in my life, and I just maintain that centeredness and sense of peace. And you had said to me, there's a different way of going about life. You could be in ease and flow, and it could be easier, and you could still get as much done on your to-do list. You knew getting stuff done was important to me. I was just push, go, go, go. And I'm like, I didn't really believe you, but I'm there. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the things that you're saying, about finding that steadiness inside with all sorts of things going on around you, that doesn't just happen like magic, although it can feel like magic when you're in it, but it has taken a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection, a lot of sitting through challenging places, uncomfortable places. And I just want to acknowledge you for that,
Thank you.
Sitting through those kinds of places that you kind of didn't want to go to at first.
No, I was too busy. If I stopped being busy, I'd have to feel those and go there. And that was painful, but it's like, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I just so appreciate your willingness to stick with yourself through those places over a period of time. And it just fills me with joy to see you and, keep seeing your posts and to hear you on your podcast, and to each time just witness that ongoing growth, that continuing growth. You don't just grow a little bit and stop. It's part of your makeup to keep going, and just really want to recognize that. And that's part of you being able to get to this point in your 3-year celebration of doing podcasts. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank
You're
you
so
for all you
welcome.
do and the lives that you change.
Thank you, because now you are also changing so many.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's just like ripples out. So by helping me, you helped other people. So thank you.
All right.
All right.
Take good care. Thank
Okay.
you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I'm going to bring Tuan on. Let me find Tuan. I said you just mentioned you had to leave. Hi, Tuan.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
See,
Let's
look,
see. Let
when
me
you
move
said that you don't think you make a difference, you are. You are making so much difference to a lot of people, Emily, especially, with your son, Will, which I heard a lot of things about. And what I like about your show is this: you are so sincere. All of the struggles that you've gone through, we all been there. And some of us going through the same thing. So you are really a great guide. And I really, like I said, I've only known you since last year. We did a wonderful podcast together about Asian American women, how we all struggle, right, and become successful as leaders. So you do make a big difference nationwide. So when you are down, like we are at the time, just see, look at this, how many people are joining you. It's amazing. I've been reading the chats. But you know what interesting is that yesterday, right, when I received your email, I think the first email you mentioned Monday, I said, oh man, I missed it.
I know, I made a typo.
I know, I said I missed it. And then when I read the second email, I said, oh my good, thank God. So so I said, because I can't miss that, and then yesterday, because we are giving a testimony in front of California State Senate in 6:30 in helping supporting a Native American tribe to become federally recognized. And it's going to be 6:30. I said, oh man, I hope it's not going to be at that time. and then that's when I asked you, I click on it and it's perfect time.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that you joined. I really appreciate that. And I loved your episode with, you said, I want these Asian American women to be able to tell their story. And we had like 4 or 5 on the show. And that was a really good episode, Tuan.
It was a great episode, and people still talking about it,
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
that's the good thing about these is they're evergreen. People can go back. I can look at the stats. I see people going back and downloading the very first episodes and listening to them again. So,
right, exactly. So, like I said, continue to do the great things that you're doing. And because you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of listeners. And 3 years, that's amazing, huh?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And like I say, we be watching and we're praying for you. And now the first time I seen Will, a nice, strong, and healthy young man, and he's doing great.
Awesome. He's awesome.
And he graduated from 2-year school.
Yeah, he got 3 degrees. I don't know where he gets that hyperachiever. Physics and 1 in physics and 2 in engineering, and then he got a graduate with honors, and then he got the physics award and the engineering award.
That's something that I'm not good at.
No, me neither. I've always offered to help William with his homework, but he doesn't take me up on it.
but please keep us apprised, okay? And then
thank you.
Congratulations. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I think I got Jenny here. Jenny's so patient. Thank you, Jenny, for waiting.
Hey there, Emily. This is amazing. I remember when we first met, and you had posted things on LinkedIn. You were talking about some of the struggles you were going through, and I'm like, look at this woman putting it out there for everyone, and she's such a leader and so open. And to see, basically, I didn't know you. I looked at your credentials. I go, my gosh, she's a Naval Academy graduate. She has been in the military, served her as a veteran, and has gone into civil service as well. And she's out there telling people it's okay to talk about this stuff. And you're actually getting people to be a lot more open about what's important in their lives and how to be more open about it. And that's really the difference. And that's why when people are talking about how you share their story, you shared your story, and it allowed people to come onto your podcast and share their own.
Aww.
And that's just such an amazing opportunity, such impact. And then I would see you do, I just did this little thing on Facebook called the Onward Movement Group. I've got a manifesto. And I'm looking, this woman has boundless energy. And I guess it was just like, I just want to be like you, Emily.
Aw, Jenny. I'm so glad we're friends. I'm so grateful for you. You are part of my transformational journey because you introduced me to another coach. You're like, well, Emily, this is a good coach. You want to join this program? And I did it for 3 months with you and some other women, and that really opened my eyes. And I can look back at some of the statements I made back then, and how I could see now. I was at this I couldn't see what other people were seeing about life and the way things are. And then it's like, it took a while, but now I can see it. I could see I was resonating at like a lower energy level. And there's so much more. Like I'm doing a webinar next week, but there's like 7 levels of energy. And now I'm more at the highest levels more often than not all the time. When I get stressed, I go down to level 1, which is catabolic, kind of draining energy. And, but then I recognize it, and it's a choice to stay there or leave it. And I know how to get myself out of it. And I know how to just experience higher levels of energy. And that all started with that first coaching program that I was in with you.
Well, it's a lot about awareness. If you think about our journeys as women, the last time that we made decisions was when we were in high school trying to get in the right college. And then we graduated from the college and we were trying to get a good career. And then we had children, families to raise. And so we've been in this space. And I think it's also the fact that you get to a certain point where you realize, I now have choices that I didn't have before. And then we really started investing in ourselves, as far as, I will tell you that if there's a class to learn, if there's a coach to work with, I get really excited about it because it gives me so much more energy. And what you've shown me about over the last several, I guess over the year or so that we've been working together on it, is number one, I can remember we were down in Florida and we were hanging out with our buddies, Josh Frank, Mike Lejeune, Russ Barnes, Eric Wright, and I think I got everybody there. There were 6 of us. Yeah. And we were preparing for a planning session to GovCon Summit. And you walked in and said, you got to take this quiz. Tell them about the quiz, because what was so funny about it is we all took the quiz and we just said, I suck at this. And it was like an opposite view of what we were trying to learn. But tell them a little bit about the positive intelligence and how it started with the quiz.
Well, yeah, it starts with that quiz or self-assessment, and positive intelligence really helps you. It helps you become more aware. That assessment tells you what your top saboteurs are. My top one is restless and hyper. It used to be hyperachiever. Now it's restless. Restless was my number 2, and it's pleaser. So the restless is the one that I have had the most challenging time taming, I guess I would say. They never go away, but I get really excited about all opportunities. Like, let me take that class. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this. And then I can get overwhelmed because I just see all these opportunities. And then that's when I go down to that. I can kind of equate it to also the energy leadership program that I coach. I go down to that level 1 energy, like, oh, I'm done. Just forget it. I just want to sit and flip through Netflix. And that's kind of a lower level of energy. But when you learn that about yourself, you start to see the saboteurs show up in ways that you probably weren't consciously aware of. You've seen that in your life. Yeah.
And what it sometimes you do get to that point of overwhelm, and that's where you're totally drained. You're exhausted. You've given everything out to other people, even people that never wanted any of the things that you were giving them. That people pleaser thing. We've talked so much about how that is. I'll call and say, well, my mother wants me to do this. And it's almost like we were programmed from a young age. Well, ask your mother. If she says yes, you can do it. If not, then you can't. Right. And so we like learned how to do it that way. And I'm like, okay, I'm old enough now that I should quit asking for people's opinion, but I still do it automatically. It's like, there's some changes I want to make in my life. And on our call on Friday, I want to ask you about them. And I'm like, I should make my own decisions. But it's the whole idea of these sage and saboteurs is we are programmed to judge because our body wants to keep us safe physically. And it's so much easier to stay small and not to make choices and not to do things instead of going out and trying things. But they say when you face your biggest fears, that's when everything really happens.
That's when things really happen.
Can you describe that for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many instances of that. And I think that, what happens is our brain, when we say we're wired, our brain, we just have these patterns. Like imagine your brain, a field, and you've got a pathway to in that field, it's worn out. It's this path to react this way when this happens in your life. And that's when you said, you might say, oh, I'm going to do things differently, but nope, that's what the pattern is. And you're not even noticing that's happening. You have worn down that path. Well, there's more than that one option. And you have to create new neural pathways. And that's what that program helps you do, is to stop going down that well-worn out path, create new neural pathways, and find other ways of being and showing up in the world. That's one of the ways that I have been able to recognize when my hyperachiever is telling me, you've got to stay up late and you've got to finish that and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. I never really questioned it. Yeah, I have to do all this stuff. Well, maybe I don't. And so it's easier to see some of these things in other people. It's harder to see it in yourself. And so what I've learned is to look at myself. And an example of another situation that somebody might be able to relate to is I was on a trip with a bunch of women, and I didn't know these women. It was through a hiking organization. And there was one woman that just kept kind of, in my mind, bossing around the person leading the trip. And it was making me feel really uncomfortable. And so I was judging her, like, how could she be saying that? She's saying, she's like acting like she's running the trip. And I was feeling uncomfortable about that. So a lot of times in the past, and probably people watching would say, yeah, I look at other people and I can see what they're doing. What the key is to look at ourselves. What does that say about me? What it was saying about me is my pleaser was so uncomfortable for the leader of the group, but she didn't seem fazed by it. She was handling it herself, but I was just uncomfortable for her and how she was feeling. So that's just another example of, you got to look at yourself and why was I letting that get to me? Yeah.
Well, exactly. What you're also talking about is the pathway of changing. When we say, okay, I've been going down this path, I'm ready to make a change, but I don't have to. And what you're really talking about is learning how to create sustaining change.
Yeah.
Learning how to kind of flow with it. Because I think as a hyperachiever like you, I'm thinking, okay, what I love about this positive intelligence is I get to take a quiz and it's going to give me numbers. And with the numbers, I can figure out what I need to do next. And it kind of created a framework that I could do something with, but it also gave me a way to describe what I was feeling, because, we've talked so much about how we just weren't ever in touch with our feelings.
No.
What makes you sad, what makes you angry, or when somebody will say, oh my gosh, Jenny, what's your dream thing to do? And I'm like, I don't know.
I couldn't dream. That's why I say, create the life of your dreams, or create a life you love living now. What would you love? A lot of, especially women, cannot answer that question. Well, my life's fine right now.
Well, or we'll look at it with limitations and say, well, I would love to be doing this, but there's no way I could afford it, or whatever. Right. And it's like looking at the patterns and finding where all those limitations come from and saying, I don't know why I feel that way. And a lot of times it's not really even necessarily the way we were raised. It's just kind of like, okay, I picked up this weird habit. I don't know whether it's from a great grandmother or what, but if I want to make something different, I've got to take some action for it. So what you've also talked about a lot that I was fascinated by after doing the positive intelligence, we started talking about energy leadership. And again, I got to take a quiz, and at the top it said what your anabolic and your catabolic was. And, I think that I can now recognize when I'm down there playing, oh, poor little me, I'm stuck. Mm-hmm. And then it's almost like I have to laugh, because I'll think, what would Emily say? She'd say, I don't think you really want to solve this problem, do you? You seem a little resistant. And that's where having you as a coach has been so powerful for me.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, I love that. It's it tells you your average resonating level. We all we're energy. Our bodies are energy. So that assessment will tell you what your average resonating level is on a scale of 1 to 7. 7 being the highest. It's like our energy is, figure it like the stock market, it goes up and down, you feel it. Your energy goes up one day, or, part of the day you get a call from somebody you really like, you get excited, your energy goes up. They say something you don't like, your energy goes down. How do you really not let your energy go down when that, just because someone says something you don't like? How do you let that not impact you? How do you keep at the higher resonating levels? Because when you do, you're going to attract more of what you love. And so it shows you your energy levels like in a bar chart, and then it tells you where you go when you're under stress.
Well, you're right about being able to attract what you love. But the other part about it is, between those two programs, it shows you how to shake it off. Because otherwise, I would gripe about it all day. I'd wake up the next morning and complain about it. And there's nothing, it's not what the other person is doing. It's how we think about what they're doing. And it's all about what pattern we're stuck in, isn't it?
Right, for sure. And one of my coaches, and this is what I coach on too, will tell you, think about what you would love. What you would love you don't have to think about how you're going to get it. You don't even have to know how you're going to get it. What would you love? That's the question. Well, the house across the street came up for sale. I would love to have that house. I walk by it every day. I look at that house. I've always wanted that house. It's just beautiful. It's got a sunroom. It's got a fireplace. It's got everything I want. I would love it. Oh my gosh, look at the price. That price is way too high. There's no way I can afford that house. Well, I did what I could with what I had. I went and looked at the house. I met with the realtor. I just said, I just want to see inside. Then I started feeling even higher energy. Like, I love this house. I really would love to move into this house, but I can't have it because I can't afford it. There's no way I would qualify for a loan that high. And because I'm not 59 and a half, I won't be 59 and a half until November. I can't touch that, my money that I've got saved up. So how could I do it? I just can't. I didn't give up. I every time I go outside, I see that house and I ask, what would I love? I would love that house. Well, guess what? If I had told myself I can't have that house because I can't afford it, that would have been wrong, but I would have just stopped. I wouldn't have gone and looked at it. I wouldn't have even pursued it. But guess what? I didn't even know this. There's a law that says if you retire at age 55 or later, you can get your retirement money out of your 401k, your thrift savings plan or whatever, your IRA, without paying the 10% penalty. Oh, so I can touch the money. I don't have to wait till I'm 59 and a half. But if I had just stopped, if I had listened to my mind that telling me you cannot have that house when I'm saying I would love that house, if you can dream it, it can happen. You can work with the universe and it can happen. So I'm at the point where I can have that house. Now I've got to decide, I don't want to pay the price that they're asking. So I've got to work on that, but I got approved for the loan. I applied for the loan. I got approved for the loan. I did what I could with what I had and I kept moving forward. So think of how, in your lives, people who are listening, when you think, I'd really love that, but I can't have it, and you just give up.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And learning all these skills doesn't just help in your professional life. It helps in your personal life, because I learned how to manifest a man.
You did. You got married, you met the love of your life.
I know. Yeah. And it's like, because I finally said, this is what I want. And I had to believe that they were out there somewhere. And, I guess it's not even been a year. So we just got married in January. But it's like the whole idea of visualizing yourself in a different situation and saying, what would I love? And I said, I love a man that would bring me coffee in the morning and would take care of this and would be super funny and would be smart and financially responsible and, all of these things. And it just happened. So somebody said, take an index card and write on both sides exactly what you want. And,
Yes.
I think it's all about a belief. What do we really love and how do we need to get there? So everything that you're talking about is about being very clear in your mind with what your intention is and not being fearful and saying, I can't have it. I think the biggest thing that I did was cut the word try
Yeah.
out of my
Try,
vocabulary.
need. You can't be saying if you're saying I want a man like all this, and then you're at the grocery store and like, oh man, look at all these couples. This sucks. My life sucks. If you're thinking that, you've got to be aware of your thoughts. If you're saying what you would love, and then all your thoughts are negative and draining, you're resonating at a low energy level, you will not attract that into your life.
That's right. That's right. Because the first time that I tried it, I got a cat because I looked at all the traits and I said, cuddly, warm, loving, and I got a cat.
Got a cat.
But I did graduate, so I'm good with that now. So, I think that what we're talking about is what has Onward Movement, Onward Podcast helped you learn that you're sharing with other people about making changes in their lives, because you're bringing in people that have had this experience, and I feel like what you're doing is saying, you can do it. They did it. Here's how.
That's exactly right. And so with my guests, I have learned from every single one of my guests in the Onward Podcast. And the Onward Movement, I put it up here, is a Facebook group. So you can just go to Facebook groups and search on Onward Movement. There's like 1,500 people in there. Some are more active than others. I make posts in there. My main social media places to post are there and LinkedIn. I focus on both of those. And now that I've been spending a lot of time, Jenny, studying and becoming a certified professional coach. So now that I'm a certified professional coach, and I am going to be going live more. So I saw someone posted a comment, can we attend the webinar next week? Yes, you can. And I've posted about it in the Onward Movement, and I posted about it on LinkedIn. But if you don't see those posts, you can message me and you can come to the webinar, which is, I'm going to be talking a little bit more depth about the energy levels. And then I'll share how you can work with me and take that assessment and learn about your energy levels and how you show up. Because I remember Will's here. I see him. I remember he went to this kind of camp once, and they read this book about leadership and self-deception. We deceive ourselves a lot. We tell ourselves, I'm positive, I'm good, my life's fine. But it's really what we're not aware of. It's the thoughts and the feelings that we're not aware of that are draining our energy and impacting our results. And there is such an awesome life to live if you can work through that.
It's really just learning what's there and kind of learning other ways. I think what you've done is you take people down a path of what would you like to achieve? What are some tools that you could use? And you let people say, I'm not ready for that, but I am ready for this, because we all come into the journey at different points. And we think that somebody else knows more than we do. But usually it's really all about discovering where you are comfortable and what you do have, so that you can get that balance in the life. And I know that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about like the energy wheels and the balance wheels.
Yeah.
So don't you do some assessments on that as well?
I do work on that. Just looking at all the areas of your life and where do you want to make improvements. And so a lot of times people might have tried making those improvements in their past and they didn't achieve them. Well, one of the reasons they're not achieving them is probably because they're not aware of their saboteurs. They're not aware of their energy level. They're not as aware as they might think they are. And that's a big reason why we don't achieve some of the things that we're trying to achieve in our life, or why we aren't attracting what we want in our life. One of the things that I had to get over was, and we're going to wrap it up in a minute, but was investing. Like, I remember the government paid for both of my degrees, my master's degree and my undergraduate degree. And I had been to a lot of training when I worked with the Navy. So I never really had to pay for a coach. And when a coach told me the price, I'm like, why would I pay that? That's a lot of money. And so I've really changed I've done a lot of work on my thought about money and about abundance. I've worked on that a lot, which is one of the reasons why I even was open to the fact that I could afford that house across the street. And it's one of the reasons I've really changed on that. I used to think that like money is scarce, and it's not. The world is abundant. And I've learned that, and I've witnessed it, and by changing my attitude on that and by doing that investing, now I'm like, got my wings. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't invested in myself. Yeah. And I talked about with one of my roommates from college, it's nothing to, say, oh yeah, well, I'll send you to space camp. Yeah, Anna, you want to go to camp? I'll send you to camp. I'll do this to spend money on my kids, but to invest in myself, it took a mindset change.
Well, it was also that feeling that you should be saving, because that's what good people do, is save, save, save. And you're selfish to spend on yourself, when in fact, you're being willing to invest in yourself made you more capable to attract more of that positivity into your life. Yeah. And I feel like the other side of what you were talking about is how you can have an impact in the lives of women leaders and others who know they want more, but they don't exactly know the way the path they could choose from. Yeah. And you gave such clarity to me on, okay, this is working, this is not working. And it's like having somebody to help you sort this hand you've been dealt and say, wait a minute, Jenny, do you not realize that's the ace of spades?
Yeah. We can see it in others sometimes more than we can see it in ourselves. Mm-hmm. Jenny, thank you so much for joining me. I've got one more person, Tim Sohn, just joined, and then we're going to wrap it up. If you want to stay in the green room, you're welcome to. If not, I'll see you Friday morning.
I'll see you Friday morning. This has been fabulous. Congratulations, Emily.
Thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate you. I'm so glad we're friends. Tim, you got back from your school event.
Yes, I'm so glad I got back just in time. I'm truly radiating real with my green screen, truly being green. And I'm so glad I could be here to celebrate you tonight.
Me too. Brian was here. Nancy was here. I know you're you do a live show with them from time to time. So I'm grateful that you're here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been so much fun. You'll have to go back and watch the replay, because I did interview the people, Dan and Erin, who wrote the song that I play, my theme song. And I explained a little about how, and then I played the theme song. I played a video of the theme song with the words, and it's called Quantum Leap. And I explained what it means to me. And that what I didn't really understand about that song 3 years ago and what I do now. So
wow, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, that was fun. So
definitely.
The school event went well tonight.
Yeah, it was so, given everything that happened yesterday and just kind of how everybody's feeling today, there's definitely chills, and some of the songs that were chosen, they obviously weren't chosen in the last day or two, but they were kind of about peace and coming together. And so it was nice to all be together and seeing children together, but still, recognizing and feeling for everyone that's going through so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for all you do. You're the man of the year for the leukemia. Explain that again.
I'm not man of the year, but I received the mission award.
I give you the man of the year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I say you are.
Yeah.
You've helped raise a lot of money for cancer, and you started. You came out on LinkedIn on Jenny Gold's show, and you shared that you had cancer and you're in remission now, and everything's great. But you started a show on perspectives on cancer, and you interview different people, and I know that gives them helps them really feel seen and heard, and helps other people who might be going through it know how to deal with it.
Thank you. And you're one of those people that were one of the guests. So I appreciate you. And it's hard to believe that it was just almost 1 year ago that I first shared my cancer story when all of this started. And since then, the show is created and connections with other cancer survivors and the Man and Woman of the Year and everything. But we're here today to talk about you and celebrate you. And I'm just so grateful for your friendship and all of your support and you show up so often in the comments of the show and shows, and you were a guest on the show, and I just so appreciate your friendship and your support. And I know a lot goes into creating live shows, and you do so many live stream shows, and I'm just so grateful and so proud of all that you're doing.
Yeah, you're a live stream producer too. You help people produce their own shows. So if someone's sitting here thinking, "Oh, maybe I'll do my own show," talk with Tim. He'll definitely help you out. So, and I appreciate. Sometimes there's been times when I've messaged you like, "How does this work? How do you do this?" And you've really helped me. So thank you so much, Tim.
Oh, thank you, and congrats again.
Thank you.
So
I'm glad we're
exciting.
friends.
3 years. Oh my gosh.
I see one more person joined, so I'll bring Clarissa on. Thank you, Tim.
Awesome. Thanks.
Clarissa, hey.
Hey.
I'm
How
glad you
are
could join me.
you?
I'm great.
Me too. Congrats.
Thank you. You've been a guest on my show, and I wrote a little chapter in one of your books that you've published. And we talk about writing a book together from time to time, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
That's okay. I know it's going to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Same for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me. You've really painted your own path. That was the book that you wrote that I wrote a chapter in, and I love your episode because we talked about how you've changed jobs so many times, and I never did that. I worked for the government for 34 years,
That's right.
and I don't regret it. However, I sometimes wonder, like, how would my life have been different if I had had the guts to do with what Clarissa did? Because that takes a lot to leave your comfort zone and to believe in yourself and have that faith in yourself. So,
yeah, well, you did it. You left and you started your own thing, and that was something that I looked up to you to do, and that's why I interviewed you for my book, because I needed that encouragement to pivot out, because I had been wanting to do that for so long.
Yeah. Did we meet through Kathy Heller's?
We did.
We met. Did we meet? Did you go to her live conference?
I went to her very first conference in LA in 2018 in this little theater.
I was there.
And were you
That's
there?
maybe where we met.
Oh, yeah.
Because
and then in her Facebook group, I know that I think we went back and forth there.
But we might have met at that conference, because I did go there in
Yes.
2018, and she's the one that started the podcast, Don't Keep Your Day Job. So I went to that thing at the theater, and then Dan Johnson, who wrote the song for my podcast, that's how I met him, through Kathy Heller too.
Oh my goodness. Yes, all roads lead to Kathy Heller.
Yeah.
A lot of great connections. Great connections there. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
again.
joining me. I really appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to wrap it up, but I think I'll be on one of your shows coming up soon too, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
My podcast it was supposed to launch the end of this month, but honestly, I was on vacation, and I'm giving myself some grace to push it to next month. So
good for you.
It's coming out next month.
Good for you. I've been doing that more too. And that takes belief in yourself too, to just like, okay, it can wait a month. What's the big deal? I'm going to miss a few weeks this summer from going live. I don't have to go live every week. People won't forget about the show or whatever. I'm going to enjoy my time, and I'm taking a break. So yeah, as women, I don't think sometimes we give ourselves permission to rest and to take a break.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks for bringing me on.
Thank you. All right. Bye, Clarissa.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for. Oops. Let me see. Let me just push this graphic. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate all of you who joined in the chat, and for the people that joined live. I know I haven't been able to pay attention to the chat as much, but I will definitely go back and make comments on, respond to all of the comments. I appreciate you guys for showing up, and who knows what the next 3 years will bring. But when I started this podcast, it was the Onward Podcast, facing adversity and moving forward. How do you push through? Because that's what I did in my life the whole time. And then it's like, oh, Onward Podcast, facing adversity, moving forward, and discovering ourselves along the way. Because I was discovering myself. And then I changed it to create a life you love living now. How many times do we say, well, when this happens, or if this would change, or if that person would change, when the circumstances change? Now, what one thing could you do this week or today or tonight to, really love your life even more? I never even asked myself that question. I don't think. I was too busy. And life, we're here once. Life's worth, we're here, some people say we come back. I don't know, but we're here right now. What are we going to do today to really love our life? What are we going to do tomorrow? How can we find that inner peace? Because I changed it to that because I saw my kid's father pass away like 5 months after I retired. And he didn't talk a lot, but I could tell he had regrets. So it woke me up. That was his gift to me. It woke me up. And he's in the video, in the beginning video that I show. There's a picture of me with my daughter and my son and Bruce. So it doesn't have to take a life-changing moment like that. It just has to take, just like some really quiet time, off your phone, off Netflix, no wine. And be by yourself and feel. If that's uncomfortable to you, it was to me. Sometimes it depending on what I'm going through, it still could be. If that's uncomfortable to you, that's a sign that you can do the inner work and there is a better life. Promise. All right. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I am going to play my closing video, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Onward Live is sponsored by Emily Harmon Coaching and Consulting. Visit my website, emilyharmon.com, to learn more about me and my coaching programs. I'd love to help you create a life you love living. Remember, every adversity is our own personal university. Sometimes the lessons are difficult, and we must learn from our experiences. Vulnerability is your superpower. You are lovable and worthy. And we discuss these topics and more because professional is personal. Thank you for joining us and engaging with me